A James Beard award-winning pastry chef, Dominique Ansel has shaken up the pastry world with innovation and creativity at the heart of his work. Named the world's best pastry chef in 2017 by the world's 50 Best Restaurants Awards, one of Business Insider's most innovative people under 40 and Crane's 40 under 40, Chef Dominique has strived through his career to bring a refreshing approach to the world of desserts. In 2015, he was bestowed the prestigious L'Ordre du Mérite Agricole Award for his accomplishments. Vanity Fair named him one of the 50 most influential French, and Daily Mail UK claimed he was the most feted pastry chef in the world. Prior to opening his own shop, Dominique served as the executive pastry chef for the restaurant Daniel here in New York City. During his 6 years there, he was instrumental and was not only the longest tenured pastry chef there, he was a contributing member to the team that helped it earn its coveted 3rd Michelin star and a 4-star review in the New York Times. As you saw, the maker and creator of such great and wonderful desserts, he is known not only across the world for his Cronut, but for all these other amazing and delicious creations. So please join me in welcoming Chef Dominique back to Google here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good morning, everyone.
So, Chef, welcome to Google.
Thank you.
Is this your first time here?
It's my first time in this building.
In this building. What do you think so far?
It looks nice.
Looks nice?
You guys have a nice offices, yeah?
Yeah. But we're really excited to have you here.
I was told that I should see the cafeteria.
Yes.
That you guys were very lucky, so I'll
Yes.
check it out before I leave.
Yes. So in a relatively short amount of time, right? You've become world-renowned chef and pastry chef, recently recognized in April 2017 as the world's best pastry chef. Let's start with your journey and how you decided this was your profession that you wanted to pursue. What was that inspiration and spark that decided pastries and desserts are the way I'm going to head?
Well, I didn't really decide. I think life put me through that track.
Yeah.
I grew up in a small town, North Paris. My dad was working in a factory, so we didn't have much money growing up. And to me, finding a job was a priority when I was young. So I started actually very early. I was barely 16. I started working in the kitchen. And I had no clue what I was doing. I had no idea what was going for me.
Yeah.
I actually hated it the first year.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. I met some good people in this industry that taught me how to love my job. I started working my way up. Eventually got to Paris, where I landed a job at Fauchon, which is one of the most renowned pastry shop. And I worked my way up there until I got here.
Yeah. So in the world, especially where formal culinary training is often a prerequisite, and as you said, you kind of just decided and fell into this. What was most difficult about that journey, where you're expected to kind of make the same cookie as everybody else in the production line, or make the pastry the exact same way, and obviously innovation and creativity fuels everything you've done. What was most challenging about that?
I think, well, there's a lot of things that are very challenging. The food industry is a tough one. Well, you stand on your feet for 16, sometimes 18 hours a day. You work weekends. You don't see your friends. You don't see your family. You feel like living almost like an offset life compared to the normal people.
Yeah.
And it's a tough one because there's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
It's very challenging, and I think that the most challenging was to find, for me, like early on, to find the passion and or to have all the stamina and the dedication to put into this life.
Yeah.
Because I'll never describe it as a job, but more as a life. This is a lifestyle. You have to love it, and you have to live with it.
Yeah. And then making that jump then from France to the US was a large one, right?
Yes, it was pretty big for me. I had a pretty comfy job. I was working in one of the most influential and renowned pastry shop in Paris at the time. I was the corporate pastry chef, developing shops around the world. And it was, a comfortable situation for me. And I got a call from Daniel Boulangerie, asking me if I wanted to join the team.
Yeah.
And at the time, my English was okay. It was like actually, it was not okay. It was not that good. I shouldn't lie. But, I came here with 2 suitcases.
Yeah.
It was 10 years ago now, working for Daniel.
Yeah.
The same. I started everything all over again.
Yeah.
A new country, new kitchen, new way of working, and I've learned and I've grown with
Yeah.
everything that was coming my way. So it was very challenging.
Yeah.
Not easy to adapt
Yeah.
from a different culture, different country, different kitchen, different way of working.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing experience.
Yeah. As they say, the New York City dream, right, of moving here
That's
and
right.
building everything up. I mentioned earlier, right, that you were part of that team that helped it get the 3 Michelin star rating. What was the biggest learning kind of from that experience? You mentioned, right, you have to work closely with Danielle. It's a traditional kind of French cuisine restaurant, but you're trying to innovate, you're trying to be creative.
That's right, yeah.
How did you go about?
Well, in the beginning, it was a little tricky because I didn't have that much restaurant experience. I only had like 2 years in the past as a chef, as a savory chef as well. So working in a restaurant was a little bit new for me. I was working more for like a bakery and retail back in France. So working in a restaurant was new for me. And working with Danielle was new as well for at this level of expectation.
Yeah.
And I had to find my style.
Yeah.
And adapt in the kitchen, working with the people that were there as well, with the volume as well. You know,
Yeah.
It's not like in France where you have like you sit like 50, 60 people and that's it for the day. It's more like larger scale. It's bigger spaces and higher expectation as well. So I found my style and practiced a lot on the kind of pastry I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And early on, I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to just do classics. I wanted something more innovative and creative when it comes to flavorous presentations and thinking of pastry at a different level.
Yeah. And you mentioned Daniel, right, was not only kind of a mentor, but also a friend. He wrote the foreword to your cookbook. Kind of, how has that relationship evolved? And like you said, very high expectations.
Yeah, it's a very close relationship.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's almost like my American father. Even though he's French, he's my American father. He's grown me. He's like taught me. Has supported me. I always tell the story, and I always remember that when I told him that I was going to leave Daniel to open my own shop.
Yeah.
It was like telling your girlfriend you were breaking up with her.
Yeah.
He was not happy at all. He like took him some time to digest. I remember I was still we were on the phone for like about a good like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I had to like calm him down to tell him that, you know, I will keep the team together, that everything will be good, that I was not going to work with anyone else, that I was opening my own shop. And he finally, you know, realized and it's been like nothing but supportive since then.
Yeah. So then when you're in the kitchen and you're, like I said, not really a classically trained mindset you're using, but instead available ingredients, combinations that people aren't willing to try, how do you get that inspiration then from what you're going to try for the dessert? Or
well, to me, it's always been I've always been curious my entire life since I was a kid. Always been curious about traveling, about learning about different cultures, about meeting people. Always been curious about seeing what's out there, and not just what you see every day, just staying in the kitchen. So opening my mind was very important for me, and not just with food either. I think that getting inspiration from a lot of different industries and different part of what this world has to offer is very important. You know, like I think any creative person is like very curious of anything and everything, pretty much. I often, you know, check on Instagram, for instance. A few years ago, I was looking at nail art. I don't paint my nails, but you know, nail art's very interesting because they use different tools, they use different techniques, and that got me inspired for like new techniques for cake glazing, for instance. I've been looking lately at pottery art. So, you know, like people do some like very cool like the mocha diffusion, different like techniques of like using clay. And we actually have a pottery wheel in the kitchen. We do some piping and some cool chocolate decor with it. So always look what's out there and have also like have a connection between the food and the people. So this is one of the most important things for me. You cannot just serve food because it's good. It has to have a meaning, to have a story, and to have a connection with people. That the biggest example like I can give, it's the frozen s'mores.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, like believe me or not, I had no idea what a s'mores was before coming here. And I've learned about it, I've tasted it, I've talked about it a lot. And a few years ago, just after we launched the Cronut, we created the frozen s'mores. So it's an ice cream version of a s'mores. And something that was I was unaware that even existed 10 years ago. So it's essentially a vanilla ice cream that is coated with a chocolate wafer and pushed inside the honey marshmallow. So it looks like a cube. We serve it on a branch, and the wooden branch has been smoked with apple wood, and we torch the marshmallow to order. So you have this thin shell, like caramelized shell on the outside of the marshmallow. So when you bite into it, it's crunchy, it's warm, it's cold in the center, it's chewy, and you have all this like fun texture. So it's like almost like rediscovering the s'mores. And this is not even like the most beautiful part for me. We opened a shop in Tokyo a little bit more than 2 years ago. We brought the frozen s'mores to Tokyo. And of course, it's Japanese people don't know what a s'more is either. And believe me or not, it is one of our best sellers. We sell like close to 800 daily. And it's something that is amazing to me that me, a French person, I can actually come here to America and bring such a classic, American classic, to a different country and introduce it so people actually love it.
Yeah. I think a similar story you kind of talk about in the book is around a chocolate chip cookie as well, right? And I know we'll talk about the cookie shot later, but kind of I found a very compelling story about how you just couldn't find a good cookie, right? And
that's right. I mean, French people are amazing bakers. It's probably like the best in the world, I have to say, but they really can't bake a cookie. It's it's like unknown in French culture. They don't know what a good cookie is. They don't know how to bake it. They don't know how to make it, and they don't eat it. So my first great cookie was here, and we have 3 cookies now on the menu. Only 3 cookies. But I pride myself saying that we have probably some of the best cookies. I love them. They're very simple. They're still like soft and tender in the center, like a thin brown outside shell. So it's and we bake them every 10-15 minutes, and people come just for our cookies. So it's a simple product, but we always talk about creativity and how it's important, because I love being creative. I love looking at classic and reinterpreting into a more modern way or fun way of eating it. But I also think that sometimes a good simple chocolate chip cookie, it's always a winner.
Yeah. And kind of along those same lines, when you're trying to perfect that cookie or perfect a cronut or perfect a madeleine, how many times do you try something and iterate and change the ingredients or change the approach before you decide this is it?
There's no rules. There's no rules at all. There's just understanding where you're trying to get, knowing the science of it, and trying everything you can to sometimes break the rules and break what you know to make something new. It's trying. It's just hard work and it's just a good stamina to never give up. Sometimes it takes us a few days to develop a new recipes. And sometimes it takes us a few months, like the Cronut. The Cronut took me over 3 months just to perfect the recipe. I was not happy with the texture in the beginning. We changed the type of flour we use, the technique, the temperature of the oil, the kind of oil we use, the filling, the glaze. Everything has been really breakdown by each part to make a great dessert.
Yeah. And along the same lines, I know you mentioned science, right, as something as part of the approach. I know you often talk about time as an ingredient that people neglect, or nowadays there's so many recipes that are shortcuts, right, or semi-homemade, but time, especially with the madeleine, right, or made to order. How did you decide that you knew this was an approach that works? And
well, it's very simple. It's a childhood memory. Growing up, I will go to the bakery with my mom or my grandma 3 to 4 times a day. 3 to 4 times a day, and not because we were that hungry, but because in France you only get fresh bread, fresh from the oven, piping hot, and you don't let it die. And this notion of time with food, it's something that everyone is aware now.
Yeah.
I think more and more. And we, for instance, at the bakery, bake miniature madeleines. They're like small pillowy cakes, like flavored with lemon. They're delicious. We bake them only to order. It takes like 3 to 4 minutes. So I always tell people it's faster than getting a latte. So it's, they're fresh from the oven, and this kind of emotions I want to give to our customers. But if you think about it, it's the same for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Like people eat sushi.
Yeah.
You don't want sushi that was made like 10 hours ago.
Yeah.
Right? You have a sushi chef that makes a fresh sushi for you, put it on your plate in front of you. You're not gonna let it sit there. You want to eat it right away. That's this moment in time where the food is like perfect. And for this madeleine, like when you bite into it, this mini madeleine, it's like you have this like little puff of steam that comes out.
Yeah.
And I always say that's the last breath of the madeleine before it
Yeah.
dies. So we're very, very passionate about our food, and I think that time is crucial. So if you guys come to the bakery, please be patient and order the madeleines. They're one of my favorite, definitely.
And I think the same holds true for macarons, right? That need to wait before you really...
Yes, actually, that's the little opposite with the macarons, because the macarons, which is a French little cookie, like 2 little shells made with almond, with usually a filling in the center. It's it's in every bakery in France, and this needs time. So time is an ingredient. Yes, sometimes time has to be like, it's crucial to eat something right away, but also sometimes food needs some time to rest. So with the macaron, since it's a little shell of cookie that is like semi-dry, and when we put the filling inside, actually you have to let it sit for a day or two for the shell to absorb the humidity from the filling, and then you have like a thin, super thin crust, and when you bite into it, it's tender. So that's the opposite of the madeleine.
Yeah, great. And so here we have a picture, right, of the bakery. We talked a little bit. You started in 2011, and you talked about the conversation you had with Chef Daniel, but again, what was that spark that, again, you're taking the second risk now then in New York, right? Not only of moving here from France and now moving from Daniel to starting your own thing and becoming a full-blown entrepreneur, right? What was that feeling and process going through your mind? And do you ever have a moment that you were like, shoot, I did the wrong thing?
It happened very, very, very fast. I gave my advice to Daniel.
Yeah.
And believe me or not, 7 weeks later, I was opening the bakery.
Yeah.
So it happened just like this. It's a moment where I didn't realize of how fast I was going and what was going to happen. Just keep in mind that this little bakery on Spring Street, when I first opened it, I only had 4 employees.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit more than 5 years ago. Yeah. Only 4 employees, 2 people in the kitchen, 2 people doing coffee and service. I will take out the trash myself.
Yeah.
I will like clean everything myself. So now of course we've grown, but it started as a very, very like small neighborhood business, very humble. I've done the painting there myself, cleaned the toilet many times. I've like electrocuted myself. I've fixed and cleaned every square inch of this bakery. So at the time it was just
scrappy startup, right? Just like here at Google.
Yeah, like let's go. Exactly, almost like Google. It was just like, let's open a shop and see if we can please people with it, and let's just like give me a chance to do the kind of food I like. In the beginning was also tough, because before opening and right after the opening, everyone will give me advice. Even I was not asking for it. Advice on what I should do, what I shouldn't do. There was New York City, a lot of pastry chefs have failed, a lot of bakeries have closed, and that I should do cupcakes and cheesecakes. That's all we'll sell, and should do like tons of sandwiches, buy a fridge and pre-wrap everything at night and leave it there on the counter. Yeah. And I was exhausted, actually, exhausted by listening to like bad advice. Yeah. And especially when you don't ask for it, right? Yeah. So I like kind of like isolated myself and decided not to listen to anyone, and just like do things with my heart and the things I believed in, which is quality food, like always the best ingredients, creative food and seasonality, always creating new dishes, use the best ingredients that are on season, and customer service, like giving the best to our customers all the time. Yeah.
And that's true, like as you said, when you stay true to your guiding principles, right? The bakery instantly became the highest rated bakery in the city. with all of the mouthwatering kind of desserts we saw in the video. But it was kind of then the Cronut, right, that obviously took the world by storm in 2013. Tell me kind of in your eyes how that story unfolded and why did you think it took off as it did?
Well, it's a fun.
And where was the idea, right? We talked a little bit that you spent 3 months trying to perfect the recipe, but...
Yeah, so at the time, my girlfriend, my business partner, asked me to do a donut for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really have a recipe for donut. I don't know how to make a donut. And she pushes me every day and lifts me up every day, of course, to get better.
Yeah.
And I actually made a donut that was not with a regular donut dough, but I made it with something similar to croissant, with the same techniques. And we put on the menu at the time, and it was still like the few of us at the bakery. We put on the menu, only made a few for Mother's Day. And we had a friend, a blogger that came, snap a photo on the corner of the table, put it on his blog, and called me the next day. He was like, hey, Dominique, I just want to let you know my article went viral. I was like, great, happy for you. Going back to my kitchen, I had like 2 hours of sleep, and I just want to go back to my kitchen. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm gonna send you this chart. Yeah, like a chart of like the traffic on the website with a spike of 300%. Within just a few hours.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's cool. Don't know what to tell you, but he's like, no, you should be ready. You should make more for tomorrow. And I think we made like 35 the first day.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll make 45 tomorrow. And of course, by the time we knew it, which is like 2 days later, we had over 150 people waiting outside. But still like 4 employees, 2 in the kitchen and 2 baristas. And I don't remember what happened, but I just remember that it was very stressful.
Yeah.
And my nights were very, very short.
Yeah. And we saw some of the craziest stories, right? The dumpster divers, all the celebrities that came and waited in line.
Yeah, celebrities, everyone wanted to get in line. And I made a very, very strict rules, which I still keep to this day, that no one cuts this line. Like no one, none of my friends, and I have less now. None of my family visited New York and they wanted a Cronut, so I told them to go wait in line. And they didn't want to wait, so they didn't try the Cronut.
Yeah.
Fair for everyone, right? I had celebrities, I had like the French first lady coming. Yeah. She didn't get a Cronut either.
Yeah.
So it's not to be, it is important for me to be respectful and mindful of our customers that come early in the morning. People were coming in like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when we were opening at 8 at the time. It's crazy, they were waiting for 5, 6 hours just outside to get a Cronut. And I didn't want to be disrespectful to them. So I made a strict rule where I won't let anyone cut the line. And I will like kindly ask everyone to come wait in line. The line is better now, guys. You don't have to come at 2 o'clock in the morning. We still have a line of like 80 to 120 people every morning. Yeah. Usually starts in the weekend around 7 o'clock. So we open at 8. So it's not as bad as it used to be. Yeah. We still have long lines for the Cronut. We limit the quantity of what we can do because our kitchen on Spring Street is very, very small. It's smaller than this stage. Yeah. I'm not exaggerating. And there's one table. This is where it all started. Yeah. One table, like 3 compartments sink to wash dishes next to it. And we don't have much. So I want to make sure we preserve the quality and the freshness of the product we serve. So we limit ourselves to a couple hundred every day to make sure that we can, we can satisfy people and not overdo it. And this is when I decided that I didn't want our creations to kill our creativity. Yeah. And that I will like continue on creating new items and come up with new ideas, which is very challenging. Yeah.
And like you said, you didn't want to just become known as the Cronut shop, right? And how does the Cronut then fit in with the other kind of creations and on the menu, especially if people are queuing up in the morning?
Yeah, at the time, like everyone wanted the Cronut. Yeah. And I had more people coming, give me advice, telling me that I didn't understand the business and what to do. That I should get a factory in Long Island or like New Jersey and mass produce it. I was told that I should be in like every supermarket to cash out, and people have tried and come, and this is not me. It's just not me. My dad like spent his whole life working in a factory. I I will not do that. This is not who I am. It's not what I want.
Yeah.
What I want to do with with our precious little bakery.
Yeah.
And I decided that I will keep on creating, just to fight the popularity of the Cronut, and to show people that there's more. There's more that can be done.
Yeah.
So like I love the Cronut. I think it brought us like a lot of awareness and show people that a pastry can be creative and a pastry chef can be creative, but it's not it.
Yeah.
We've created hundreds and hundreds of new pastries since then, and still to this day we will keep on creating from our shop in Tokyo, London, and soon in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We will every single location will keep on. I'll keep on pushing for creativity.
Yeah, and you get that recognition, right? When the first lady came, I think the president called you, right, to
He did.
chat with you on the cell phone.
Actually, she was texting him, and he called her.
Yeah.
And actually handed the phone to me, and she was like, "This is for you." And I was like, "Excuse me?" She was like, "It's for you. It's Mr. President." I was like, "Oh, okay." And I picked up the phone. It was a little scary because he knew everything about my life. Knew that my siblings, where I grew up, what I was doing, maybe the tax I was paying. I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe I ran a background check. But he was very pleased to talk to me and told me that he was very proud of what I was doing here. He also told me that the Cronut was French.
Yeah.
And when I corrected him, I was like, it's half French, half American. He was like, no, it's French. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
If it was Obama, I would say something else.
But yeah, you mentioned your other kind of creations, right? This is the DKA, right? This is actually, I believe, the most popular, right? Across.
So the DKA is our bestseller across like every cities, every countries, and it's actually my favorite. I tell people I eat one every morning.
Yeah.
They don't believe me. I really do. I love it. It's essentially almost like a flaky caramelized croissant with like a nice crunchy shell on the outside. You guys all had it.
Yes.
And like this gooey, soft, tender center. I love it. I'll eat it any day. It's like actually something I introduced when I was at Daniel. We always had a weekly meeting. I will always like challenge my team to come up with something new or something classic that I wanted them to see the technique. And it's something I had done back in France a little bit. So I wanted to make a newer, lighter version of it. I brought it to the manager meeting at Daniel, and I don't know why they all went crazy for it.
Yeah.
They're asking for it every week. I was like, no, this is off the menu. It's just for the meeting. I'm not putting this on the menu.
Yeah.
And they're all asking for this. So I decided to put it on the menu on Spring Street at the bakery. And people love it. We actually call it the DKA. So it's simpler to pronounce. It stands for Dominique's Quignaman. And Quignaman means a buttery cake in Celtic.
In Celtic.
It's from Brittany.
Yeah. The next one also has a very interesting story, right? And the
Yes,
cookie shot
that's
wasn't
the cookie
meant.
shot. It wasn't meant to be so popular. The cookie shot actually started at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
So I was called with a PR company to collaborate to do something new. So this is a show that promotes innovation and creativity, technology. I was asked to come and to do something with them. So they told me the story of the PR company and how they started. Started late at night at a bar where they were like writing ideas on napkin and drinking shot. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I'll do something for you. So we at the time like created this cookie shot.
Yeah.
And we set up a bar. We had different kind of milk, and it was like a fun event.
Yeah.
And it turned into be like very popular. We did it just for one night.
Yeah.
And we had a few hundred that night, and we had a line of over 700 people waiting just for this. And this was meant just for this event.
Yeah.
So I was going back to New York a day later, and before I even got back, everyone was asking for it. We decided to put it on the menu, and it's been one of our bestsellers now since then. We offer it in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's an afternoon snack, of course, cookie and milk, from 3 p.m. until closing. And in Tokyo as well, like was one of our bestsellers. So it's been very popular.
And you perfected the cookie
Yes.
on the way there.
So it's served warm. We pour fresh farm milk that is infused with vanilla inside, a nice ice cold milk, and a warm cookie. And people always ask me, how should I eat it? It's like, just get a shot and eat the cookie. It's very fun.
Yeah. This we talked about, right? The frozen s'more.
Yeah, the frozen s'more. So it's like this beautiful, like crunchy shell, and you can see this like tender marshmallow, the vanilla ice cream.
So you mentioned you've started to expand globally, right? Now 2 stores in Tokyo, a bakery in London. You're working towards your first restaurant in LA. How do you expand the brand when you can only be physically in one location at any time and stay authentic to that kind of mission, right? And pushing the boundary.
Yeah, I will say like just 2 things:
Yeah.
talent
Yeah.
and technology.
Yeah.
Talent, because I need good chefs, strong chefs that have the same vision, or at least can learn how to create, how to think out of the box.
Yeah.
And you know, we have a lot of like talented chefs in London, in Tokyo.
A lot of the team is here today with you as well.
My team is here. We have our chef from Hyun, our chef for the restaurant in LA as well. I'm very fortunate. The team, you know, is everything for me. I mean, without a team, there's no good leader without a team.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to challenge the team every day, but also to support them into everything they do. And technology is very important. I have, you know, my cell phone with me all day, like everyone now, and there's lots of apps to get into a call, send videos and see photos. Yeah. So I stay connected with our team in London, Tokyo, every day, every single day, without exception.
And the menu, right, is custom at each location. I think this is, again, the Tokyo Bakery. How have you adapted the local flavors to suit local tastes? I think this is an example of the creme de la corn, right? Which probably in the US, it's not the taste and flavor profile that most people would expect. But
I don't know. I think corn is very popular here. We're actually going to launch this at very soon, just for a weekend at the kitchen. So in Tokyo, we started with the kind of the New York menu, which was 70%, and we created like a small menu just to test and see. And now it has flipped. Like about 80% of the menu is local creations. Yeah. And about 20% is the signature from New York. And why? Because I think, you know, before anything, a bakery is a local business. So you have to cater to your local customers. And the culture is different, so you have to use local ingredients, like local produce, but also like celebrate every local holiday and tradition as well.
And this is also one, right, that is the zero gravity, which is inside of a balloon, right?
Yes, so it's a light, super light, fluffy chiffon cake inside a balloon. It's our zero gravity cake, so it's how we call it. It's for a new shop in Ginza, in Japan. Then we ask people to take a little pin and to pop the balloon. So sometimes we put confettis inside for birthday. People love it. Yeah. It's very fun.
Then this is the kitchen right here, opened April 2015.
Yes.
Was your second store opening in New York. How did you decide that it was the right time?
So everyone was asking me, from the time we launched the Cronut until we opened the kitchen, everyone was asking, what is the next pastry? What is the next like hybrid you're gonna create? And I always tell people, like, it's not about creating a hybrid. Yeah. It's about being creative. Yeah. The Cronut might be known for being a hybrid pastry, but it's not about this. It's really about creating emotions and new things. So when everyone was expecting the next hybrid pastry, I gave them the next hybrid bakery, which is Dominique Ansel kitchen. So we take time as an ingredient, and we make everything like freshly made to order. Yeah. Why? Because it's something, I mean, I've done my entire life working in the kitchen, mixing a chocolate mousse and taking a spoon of it, and I realized that the best moment in time where the food was that good is when you were making it. So if you come to the Dominique Ansel kitchen, we have a large portion of our menu that we make to order, like this very light, fluffy chocolate mousse. We have a lemon yuzu tart, where we use a milkshake maker, actually, where we mix the butter and the curd, and we emulsify it to order. Then we have a super thin tart shell, and we pour this like creamy, buttery lemon curd into the tart shell. So it's like you have these beautiful textures, and it's super delicate, and it's different emotions, different way of eating food.
Yeah, and these are the matcha.
These are the matcha beignets. So they're fried to order, and they're little puffy, fluffy beignet beignet dough with a little bit of lime zest, and we finish it with like tons of matcha powder sugar.
Yeah. And another kind of unique opportunity that I'm not sure if everybody knows, right, is kind of Up, that you run kind of after hours at the kitchen.
Yes. So I love Up. I always tell people, pastry chefs, especially in restaurants, they always they don't really have the story to tell, because when you have a dinner, whatever savory food the chef cooks, you have to follow with the dessert.
Yeah.
So if the chef cooks like classic food, you have to do classic desserts.
Yeah.
And if it's super modern, you have to be super modern. So this is an opportunity for us to be close to our customers. So this is our kitchen in a West Village, and here we have a table that's hanged on the ceiling. So Up stands for unlimited possibilities, and this is where we serve our tasting menu. We're working on the next one. It's going to be very fun for the fall. And we're right here in the middle of the kitchen where we prep the food for you. We turn around and we drop it. And we can tell you the story from actually beginning to end.
Yeah. I think one of the interesting ones, right? I think the tech boom, right?
Yes, the first few menus were 8 courses of only desserts. And it's not too much. They're small portions. And this one was the tech boom. So it's essentially one of the first Mac.
Yeah.
It's I work with an engineer to like create this like little computer where we give people a flash disk, and when you put the flash disk in the computer, it shoots out waffles.
Yeah.
So it shoots out warm waffles, and it was a way of experiencing Up and to have like little stories behind every of the dishes.
I think one more we have here. First Heartbreak, right?
Yes, this is another dish that we created for this menu. Was the first Heartbreak. So the menu was called First, and it was retracing every first time of someone's life. So from the first word to the first time living on your own, the first heartbreak, which is right here. So I got inspired by love. It started off with something beautiful, like this like beautiful flower, and we have a little like rice paper sticking out with a love note. And we are asking people to take matches, light the rice paper on fire. And this is actually baked Alaska. So the entire dish will like catch on fire. And in the center, you can see this little like chocolate sphere. And inside was Rocky Road ice cream.
Yeah.
So you have the little ice cream at the end. It was a very fun way of like telling a story from beginning to end for us.
Great. We're going to open up the floor to audience Q&A if people want to start lining up at the mic on both sides. But kind of last 2 questions I had for you is, we've talked a little bit about upcoming projects, obviously in LA. Kind of what's next for you, and where do you see yourself the next 5 years?
Well, what's next for me? I think it's important to take it one step at a time. I'm really excited about LA. It is we're opening a bakery there, but we're also opening our first restaurant, our first full service seated restaurant.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about this. I was trained as a chef as well, beginning of my career. I love cooking. I've always loved cooking. Always been in the kitchen, service side at Daniel, see what they were doing, how they were cooking, and it is it's a big step for us.
Yeah.
It's also an opportunity to showcase how creative we can be, not only with desserts but also with like savory food.
Yeah, and then especially at Google, we have kind of my last question is, people always ask us, we have so much free food around. How are you not putting on weight? When you're in the kitchen with all these desserts, what is your secret to not?
There's no secret. You sleep very little, and you're standing on your feet all day long, going up and down. So it's I eat a lot, taste a lot of food. It's just a matter of like, I don't know, maybe I'm lucky too.
Fast metabolism.
Yeah, maybe fast metabolism.
Great, we can start.
Hi, Dominique. My name is Claire. Amazing inspiration on all your sweet
Thank you.
which I think we all love. Switching to savoury, what savoury foods do you like to eat? And do you have favourite restaurants in New York?
What savory food do I like to eat? I'm very curious, so I love exploring food. I force myself, even though I don't have too much time, force myself to go out to see every new restaurant. I love eclectic cuisine. I love seeing like different flavors, different style of cooking. Some of my favorite restaurants, I have a lot, I have a long list. Blue Hill is one of them. We're actually doing a chef collaboration with Dan Barber today and this weekend at the kitchen, and we're doing this beautiful Scotch egg. So Dan Barber, which is, I don't know if you guys know about him, one of the best chefs in the country, has a farm, Blue Hill Stone Barn, upstate, and he has found a way to feed this chicken with white pepper, and the yolk actually turns red. So we're doing a fun like Scotch egg with like beets and these like beautiful eggs from the farm, baby corn that is grilled, and I love Dan Barber's food.
Bonjour, Dominique, Alexandre. Thank
Bonjour.
you so much for being here. I have two questions for you. One, as a Frenchman who moved to New York recently, is a basic survival question, but what do you think is the best baguette in New York?
The best baguette. It's tough.
That's what I'm
I
asking.
love I love the baguette at Maison Kaiser actually.
Okay.
Yeah, they do good job with bread.
Cool, thank you. The second question is, so you're super international now. You have multiple locations in the U.S., Japan, London. Are you thinking of opening shop in Paris? And I guess in general, what's your relationship back to France?
I mean, Paris is my. I have to say, like I love New York. Paris is to me one of the most beautiful city in the world. I love Paris. I will always love Paris. I will love eventually someday getting back home and doing something there. I have no plan for now, but eventually I would love to go back. I spent so many years of my life there.
Merci.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, that's good. All right. When you were thinking about opening a second location, what made you choose Tokyo out of all the locations basically in the world?
Okay, our second location was actually the West Village, but our second shop internationally was Tokyo. You're right, and Tokyo was just a matter of like market. There's a huge market for bakeries there. People are crazy about bakeries, about pastries, about food in general. The market is actually quite saturated, and there's so many bakeries everywhere that they love and understand French food. And we met some good people that help us developing the business there and opening the business. So what was a natural like next step for me. Tokyo is a market that I love. Every time I go back, there's so much to see and culturally to learn about. There's like excellent food everywhere. Even like the smallest like noodle shop like will make the best food ever. So it was a natural next step for me to go to Japan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I was curious, it sounded like you had a whole bunch of recipes that you started to build when you arrived at the United States. Are there any ingredients or techniques that you discovered as well?
Well, tons, yes. I think it's an industry where food industry is an industry where you learn in the beginning with recipes from your chef, and then you, if you're smart enough, you should build from there. Always look at the recipes, why they were done a certain way. There are still recipes that I used that 2-3 generations ago were using, but like I always like look at it and try to understand it. For instance, like buttercream that we're doing like 30 years ago had lots more butter, lots more sugar than now, and it was used just as preservative. Like they were not putting they were not having the refrigeration we have now, leaving the food outside. But time is changing. People are more like health conscious, and it's important to always like look at the recipe, like tweak them, perfect them, and there's like always tons of recipes and new ideas we're developing. For instance, right now between all of our locations from Tokyo to New York and London, there's probably like I'll say like 50, 60 different menu items that are being developed. So it's perpetual. We never stop thinking of new techniques, new recipes. We're constantly developing. It's a part of the process, the part of what we do.
Have you done anything with kale?
I actually was asked to do something with kale.
Do it.
It was not too bad. I did a kale sorbet. It was very light.
Dominique, have you ever tried experimenting with using something in place of egg in recipes? And if you have you found anything that works well?
I mean, I have not played too much with eggs, but I know people use different different source of protein to emulsify mixes. I know there's a lot of things out there. Not too much. I haven't played too much with egg whites, but I sometimes get asked the questions. Yeah.
Great. Well, let's give Chef Dominique a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.